welcome to World News by Denis Halandzovskyi. If you value calm, clear, and fact-based reporting on complex global developments, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your perspective. Today we look at Ukraine's evolving peace plan, specifically the proposal to secure the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, a focal point of both safety concerns and diplomatic negotiations. Ukraine's new peace framework places nuclear safety at the heart of negotiation priorities. Central to this proposal is the idea that the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, occupied during the war and a source of repeated fears over catastrophic accidents, must be protected under clear and enforceable security guarantees. The Zaporizhzhia plant is the largest nuclear facility in Europe located in southeastern Ukraine. Its scale and complexity make it a unique risk, a serious incident that could have wide-ranging consequences for millions of people crossing borders and affecting air, water, and soil safety far beyond Ukraine itself. Officials in Kiev have stressed that any long-term peace agreement must involve international oversight and safeguards to prevent the plant from becoming a flashpoint or bargaining chip. Among the key elements Ukraine proposes are demilitarization of the facility, neutral monitoring by international agencies, and explicit commitments that neither side will use the plant or its grounds for military positioning. This proposal stems from repeated incidents, shelling near the site, power outages, and concerns about the integrity of spent fuel storage that have alarmed global observers. European nations and nuclear safety watchdogs have issued warnings that any damage to reactors or cooling systems could trigger radiation release with catastrophic humanitarian and environmental consequences. By foregrounding nuclear safety in its peace plan, Ukraine is linking security guarantees with one of the most sensitive symbols of civilian risk in the conflict. The strategy is not only about protecting a facility, but about anchoring peace talks in a shared recognition of mutual risk and international accountability. Ukraine's leaders argue that security guarantees around nuclear infrastructure should be non-negotiable, not a matter of political convenience, but of existential importance for Ukrainians and all their neighbors. The inclusion of Zaporizhzhia safety in peace discussions carries broader implications. First, humanitarian and environmental risk. The potential for a nuclear accident, whether accidental or due to military action, elevates the conflict from a territorial dispute to a threat with continental impact. Radiation does not respect battle lines. Contamination could harm people, agriculture, and ecosystems across Ukraine, Russia, and into Europe. International agencies, including nuclear regulators and humanitarian organizations, have repeatedly called for demilitarization and neutral zones around the plant. These calls reflect not only concern for Ukrainian citizens, but for public safety across borders. Ukraine's peace plan echoes these global worries, explicitly linking them to enforceable security frameworks. Second, diplomatic complexity. Russia's response to the proposal has been cautious, underscoring narratives of Western pressure and national sovereignty. Moscow has previously rejected external monitoring or limitations on its forces near the facility, framing such conditions as interference. This complicates negotiations because nuclear safety, unlike territorial adjustment, involves not only Ukraine and Russia, but international institutions and neighboring states. Achieving consensus on the plant's future requires reconciling competing priorities: Ukraine's desire for clear, international guarantees, Russia's insistence on strategic influence, and global actors' insistence on safety protocols that cannot be softened without risk. Third, international law and peace frameworks. Ukraine's emphasis on Zaporizhzhia aligns with broader principles of international humanitarian law, protecting civilian infrastructure and minimizing harm to non-combatants. Peace agreements that incorporate such principles may gain wider international legitimacy, attracting support from governments and organizations keen to see durable, rights-based solutions. However, translating safety goals into enforceable provisions is challenging. Who oversees performance? How are violations measured? What consequences follow? Ukraine's leaders have suggested multinational monitoring and binding mechanisms similar to peacekeeping or arms control agreements, but reaching agreement on these specifics requires political will and trust, both of which are in short supply. Finally, public perception and global solidarity. For many around the world, the image of nuclear reactors in a war zone evokes Cold War-era fears. Ukraine's call for security guarantees around the plant resonates not only with policymakers but with publics who see nuclear safety as a shared global concern. Whether or not Zaporizhzhia becomes a key part of any future peace agreement, its inclusion in the debate highlights how modern warfare raises issues that transcend traditional battlefields, requiring international cooperation, shared norms, and a willingness to protect common humanity. Thank you for watching this report on world news by Denis Halandzovskyi. If you found this explanation insightful and clear, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your perspective. Independent reporting helps us understand how diplomacy, safety, and global risk intersect in today's world. Stay informed and see you in the next update.